Blood is life. We are approaching Easter and talking about resurrection. And here I want to talk to you about vampires. Yes, yeah, there is a connection. There is a connection. Bear with me. Every culture that ever existed knew this instinctively. Long before medicine, long before science, long before anyone understood what blood actually did inside the body, you bled enough, you die. Which means blood contains something that living cannot afford to lose. And the dead, according to folklore, across dozens of cultures, across centuries, come back for that exactly reason. Not because they're evil, because they are unfinished. Welcome to Holes in the Forest. I am Ariane Saltoris, a folklorist and a Gothic fiction scholar, and the publisher at Kite Potter Books. Today, we are going back to where the vampire actually came from. Not Stoker, not cinema, not Carmilla, not the elegant aristocrat in the cave. Folklore, death rituals, and the ancient human understanding that some people, when they die, are not done yet. What the original revenant actually looked like. Not elegant, not pale, not seductive, though we are very grateful for this upgrade. Swollen, reddish, bloated, the signs of the body in decomposition that people in pre-scientific communities did not understand and therefore feared. When someone died and the community continued to sicken, livestock dying, family members wasting away, disease spreading, the logical conclusion in a world without germ theory was that the dead was responsible. That they were coming back, feeding. The vampire was born from that fear. You know when people say that your nails grow when you die, that your hair grows when you die, that actually is your skin that's coming back and getting dry, and it looks like you have more hair and your nails are longer. Well, people did not know that back then. But here's what is interesting. The conditions that created a vampire in folk belief had almost nothing to do with being bitten. You could become a vampire by dying without receiving the last rites, by dying in debt, not financial debt, but moral debt, like by dying with things unsaid, undone, unlived, by dying before you were finished. The stake in this original folkloric context was not a weapon, it was a pin. You know, to make sure that if you had to stand up, that you didn't. It was a way of holding the body to the ground. Well, you know, so you can rise. Because the fear was not that the vampire would seduce you. The fear was that it would drain you and your children of the very thing it never had enough in life. Since the beginning of mankind, it was understood that blood was something beyond a biological fluid, something that came out of the body. It was life itself, concentrated, visible, irreplaceable. You come into this world through blood. If you lose all of it, you die. To lose blood was to lose vitality. To gain blood, in the vampiric sense, was to steal somebody else's life force and use it to sustain your own. That is why the vampire feeds on the living, because only the living carry what the vampire lacks. Living human beings. Genuine vitality. And there is where the folklore becomes genuinely dark in a way the literary vampire rarely achieves. Though you hear Lestat saying this quite often. The folkloric vampire doesn't feed because it's evil, it feeds because it's empty. It died empty. It returns empty. And no amount of blood will ever fill what was missing. Because what was missing was never blood. It was love. Sure, you could become a vampire by doing a number of weird, mundane things, like never eating garlic, like having a cat walk on your grave after your passing, could also made you into a vampire. And a list of incredible things you must have done and not have done, and you were likely to be a vampire. Not me, though. I come from Brazil and we eat a lot of garlic. But let's talk now about resurrection, because this is the topic. This is a little bit more philosophical episode, because it's Easter after all. Maybe not when you're watching it, but certainly when I intended for you to watch it. The dead who return are almost always the dead who left something unresolved, unlived desires, unexpressed truths, harm done and never reckoned with, a life contracted into smallness and fear until the body gave out, and then the smallness itself refused to stay buried. The vampire is not the monster who lived fully. It was the human who didn't live fully enough. This is what the folklore understood and the literary tradition largely abandoned. The vampire is not a predator by nature, it's predator by default, by the logic of what it never became. It returns to the living because the living have what it lost or never had. And it drains them not out of malice, but out of a hunger so old, so deep, so fundamentally underaddressed that death itself could not extinguish it. The unlived life becomes the unlived death. And the unlived death wanders, feeds, returns night after night to the same houses, the same people, the same sources of borrowed vitality. Because it has no other way to exist. That's sad. And yet we are fascinated by them. Not repelled. Fascinated. Every generation reinvents the vampire. Every decade produces new stories, new films, new obsessions with the figure of the undead who feeds on the living. Why? Because the vampire got out. It broke the contract, the social contract
that says, be good, be smart, be obedient, follow the rules, and you will be rewarded.
The vampire follows none of these rules. In life or in death. The folkloric tradition, the vampire who returns, is often the one who was most suppressed in life, the one who was most constrained, most denied, most forced into a shape that didn't fit. If we look that way, we're going to have an apocalypse of vampires. We are not doing very well right now. Can we change that? In death, freed from the body that obeyed, freed from the social world that demanded obedience and a certain structure and a form and status, it becomes something else. Dangerous, autonomous, impossible to ignore. There is a reason the vampire is always more seductive than leaving characters around it, more vivid, more present, more fully itself. It stopped performing. It stopped being what everyone needed it to be. The tragedy is not that it feeds on blood. The tragedy is that it took dying to get there. This is especially true for women. Have you noticed a vampiress? A woman who becomes a vampire is the most sensual version of herself, the freed version of herself. The vampiress is the dark, the shadow female, the one who does not follows the rules that should apply to her sex. Folklore got it right. Not the literary vampire, not the cinematic vampire, the original, the swollen, bloated, terrifying revenant of Eastern Europe folk belief, primarily. They understood that we have spent centuries dressing up in caves and romance to avoid confronting directly. If you don't live now, you will come back to feed in the life of us, trying to get back what you've lost and never do. So, Easter talks about resurrection. Spring is here, and we have the chance to start over and become something new. And you, what do you want to be reborn as? If you like this kind of content, if you enjoyed the episode, please comment, like, and share, and subscribe to the channel because there's a lot more to come. I am very grateful for your support, and it doesn't matter when in the world you are watching this video right now. Happy Easter. Merry Ostara. Have a great day.